That's good. So that's it for camp. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's crazy. It comes and goes as fast as as it arrives. I guess sometimes, but it's been a good fall camp. I think we've really strained them. I think we've tried to. Anytime you get a new team like this, 40 new players out here, and you're really trying to find that team's identity and push them, make sure the culture engulfs what it is that you're trying to create from them. And I think we're good. I think at the beginning of, camp, we said, boy, we're experienced in the right places. I think that showed up through the extent of camp, and we've really just, poured into those freshmen to keep coming along to provide us depth and give us an opportunity to build a roster that'll compete all the way into November and December, So I think we've done a lot of that. It's hard to tell, I think this time of year you always go back and forth. I was this morning, I was trying to think, like, golly, what did I feel like this time of year ago about our team, And I think that there was uncertainty with what we were doing at quarterback. There was uncertainty with how our offensive line was going to shape out, and we ended up having a really good team. So I think that we have the makings of a good team again. Obviously, having your quarterback back is important, and he's done a great job this fall camp. And I think he's finally we've got some leaders that are kind of starting to finally show up and take the reins on some of that stuff that we need them to. And it's been fun to watch them develop. But until you play, I don't think that we've got talent. We've increased the things that are most important to us, which is like our tempo and our, just some of our edge-related stuff. And I think that we're there. I think we're a tough football team. You try to create as much adversity as you can. They responded pretty good through fall camp, but it's kind of when it's synthetic problems. Sometimes you get synthetic reactions. So you want them to. We'll see when real adversity comes exactly how they handle that. I think our older guys will know what to do. I think that we got to keep building that culture with those under guys. I think we got talented young players. We just got to let the lights come on and see how they respond then.
A lot of coaches, I think, kind of talk about the non-conference schedule as an opportunity to continue that ramp up and getting ready for conference play. But when you're in the conversation for the college football playoff, every game matters, and those games, especially against like Baylor and TCU, those are resume builders. So does it almost feel more important that you're ready to go come week one and you don't have as much room to kind of?
Yeah, I mean, winning's everything. I do think that we've got an amazing opportunity to have 3 Texas schools that we get a chance to play in the first month. Obviously, there's historical significance that exists with Baylor and TCU, and we're super glad. They're good football teams that both have won a lot of the games that they've played recently, So they're going to be great challenges for us. I think that when you're counting on what your depth is going to look like in your full roster, then I think there's like hey, we got to be ready for ACC play to do what it is that we've got to do from that standpoint. But as far as how do you got to find a way to win? We got to find a way, and I do think that there's urgency quick to be able to do that. I don't think that there really hasn't been a lot of conversations about who red shirts and who doesn't and all that. I think all hands are on deck early in the season, and we got to make sure that we'll see how that shakes out through the first couple weeks, and then once we get to bye week, then we can kind of reapproach exactly what we think about all that. But I think that. You're right. We don't have time to focus on the ACC right out of the gates. I think that we've got we're building to make sure that we're ready to go. We want to be hitting our stride by the time we play in that conference, but we don't have time to. There's an urgency to win. Obviously, there's an urgency to win against opponents that we recruit against, and that we have shared fan interests, and that we in a city like Dallas where there's a lot of those other schools' graduates have come to live in Dallas and be part of this. I think that there's certainly some urgency for us to be prepared to go early in the season.
You mentioned the uncertainty with the offensive line last year. This year there's a little bit more of a veteran group there. How much does that help you?
Man, we said at the very beginning of fall camp that we were experienced in the right places. So it's good to have quarterback. We've got some starters back on the offensive line. I think that we're to the point where we may have 9 or 10 guys that we could put into a game right now. And if you count another, you're starting to see the light turn on for guys like Draymond Odoms and Abel Hoopy and guys that could maybe end up in your 2 deep by the time you end the season. And so it is super important that the first guys that you send out there, that there's a level of trust that exists. I think that, there's been times since we've been here that we were really worried, like, okay, I don't know who that tackle is going to be, but we ain't got great options. And I think now we're to the point where we got really good options. I think that we've got, for the first time since we've been here, we've got 4 or 5 offensive tackles that look like they belong in this level. And we've got good interior players. We got a couple centers that can help us. And so I am excited, and that gives you a little bit more confidence when you are, hey, nothing else, I got a quarterback that can manage it, and I got an offensive line that can protect what's going on and start us going in the run game and do those sort of things. And that, like I said, it's a good place to start. And this unit's got to gel together. And I think that we've seen some of that is to the extent that you can during the practice setting. But as we transition to the early part of this season, we don't have a lot of time to warm up. To your point earlier, right? It's not we roll through. Commerce rolls in here, and then we got Baylor real quick, and then kind of that road game to Missouri State, and and then we got to go over to TCU. So we're going to be counting on them early to come together.
RJ is one of the best tight ends in the country when he's healthy. You also have Whitmer there, experienced guy. What does that do for your offense and how excited are you?
Well, I am really excited. I do think I've told our guys a lot that I believe that this is the best tight end room that I've ever coached. I think it's arguably the best one in the ACC. I think there's an argument out there. I don't know what everybody's playing with at tight end, but as far as systematically what we do offensively and how they fit into that, both of those guys are next level players that are capable of really impacting our offense in a positive way. And honestly, we're going to count on them because that is the one position it's been. Stone's a guy that's played a lot of reps here. I think I think Tripp Reardon and Adam Moore have both had outstanding camps. So that is really the one room where we've got some depth, some real depth that's ready to play depth. And so we're going to have to rely on those guys to be able to help contribute, not just in the box but on the perimeter. And so as the rest of the team kind of forms around it, I think we got a chance to lead the way there and be part of that. And I'm really proud of our guys and what they've done to this point. And, I think that we've been in the position the first 3 years here of telling everybody, guys, I think we're okay. I think we're going to be pretty good. You guys should talk about SMU and do all that. And it's like, and now everybody else is like, man, SMU's really good. And so we got to be careful. We can't contribute to that. Now we kind of got to work the other side of it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you can just as easily be a 6-win team, 6-win disappointment. If we don't approach this thing the right way, if you start sacrificing the things that it took to get us here because you think that you're already here, and that's been a big emphasis of this fall camp. I think our guys are aware of that, but they go home and watch TV and read Twitter too, and they do all that. And so at some point, somebody's going to show up with cleats and helmets and shoulder pads, and they're going to hit you back, and we got to be ready for that. And I think we will be. But you don't know till you know, and until those freshmen get out there and you have confidence that they can give you the depth that you need to last through the season, it's still a work in progress.
With all the turnover that you had at wide receiver and running back, do you like what you've seen in camp? And do you expect it to still kind of be that committee approach at both positions?
Yes, I do. I do like what we've seen. I think that we've got, it was a complete rebuild in the running backs room, right? Derek McFalls only got back. And so to see CJ come in here, TJ Harden's been a nice surprise, even though, he's only, 2 weeks in to being here. He's a guy that can provide you good reps and do what we're doing. Jermichael Green, as far as he has flashed as a freshman, and so he's missed out on some reps of getting it with kind of a little banged up here, but he'll be back ready to go. And so I think the running back room is particularly early on will be committee till somebody separates themselves to be able to carry the load for what it is that we need to do. From a receiver standpoint, I've been really proud of our 2 outside guys. I think Romello Brinson and Jordan Hudson have taken steps, and when they're on the field, we got a potent offense, and then it'll be fun to watch Isaiah Robertson and Jalen Cooper and Ymir Knight and Carterius Brown and Dalen Singleton, right? All those guys that are here that, you know, are new to our program. And I mean, I think 6 of our top 8 receivers weren't here, you know, within the last year. And so we are certainly counting on them to come along. I think that they've flashed again, but they've got to continue to come on. I think they know what the standard is. I think that they think that they're trying to achieve the standard. I think that there's still room to grow to get to the standard of where we need them to be an every down competitive room. But Coach Likens has done a fabulous job with them. I've really been proud of the oldest 2 outside guys, because I think that they're trying to drag that room along, and we need for them to develop quick. You know, we need for them to develop quick in order for us to be competitive and hitting our stride when we want to be.
With Richard's kind of delayed emergence last year, has that kind of changed anything about how you guys approach the running back position?
Not really. I guess just don't count one out that you've never seen tackled. You know, we have done more tackling this fall camp than we did at any point last year, and I think that had to do with we knew the experience coming back from the championship year before, and so no, I think that it just keeps us more open-minded to probably who could emerge once you get to that point. You know, and I think that we've got 4 really good candidates, and I think that they complement each other well, right? We've got big guys that are used to power carrying. We've got guys that we feel like 3rd and 1 can go power for a yard, and we feel like we've got weapons on the perimeter. You know, I think 2 of our fastest guys on our team are in that room right now in the 10-yard split. So that's you've got suddenness and you've got explosiveness from the backfield, as well as guys that are used to carrying and managing, you know, a full load of a college football game. So I think that Coach Coops and Coach Foster have got great plans on how they're going to execute and operate that through the first month of the season, and in this league versus this schedule that we're going to have to play this year, we're going to need all of them to help us win.
Thank you.
Good? Yeah, heck yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate you, man. Yep.